Good morning, everyone. My name is Scott Morris. I'm the Director of Business Development for Gaming for GTS Distribution, and we're here with another one of our publisher to retailer webinars. And I'm very excited to have our good friend Tom Wetzel, who has joined us a few times before in the past from KOSMOS Games. We're going to be talking about two very cool games. One is a brand new release called Legends of Andor, Liberation of Rietburg. And then the other one is a upcoming release called Aquilin. They are both very different games. Obviously, the Legends of Andor one is set in the Legends of Andor universe. That's why it has the name, of course. And Aquilin is, I believe, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Tom, it's a two-player game only, correct? Yes.
Correct.
Awesome. There's some really cool things about both of these that I may pop in and kind of chime in on from time to time. But if you are new and you are joining us for the first time, just want to give you a little bit of kind of housekeeping kind of stuff. There's an easy way to ask questions. All you have to do is hover over your video window, and at the bottom there's a little chat bubble. You can click on that and you can send a message to either all the panelists, which are myself and Tom, or all the panelists and attendees, so all of the other retailers can see the question as well. As I always tell everybody, everything is on the table, so any kind of questions that you have, let us know and we'll be happy to answer them for you. And as Tom knows, because he's been here multiple times before, I'll monitor that and kind of pop in from time to time as the questions come up. And in a moment, I will take and do my copy paste trick and put a couple of pieces of information into the webinar chat. So if anyone wants to look up the games while they're watching online, you can do that. But other than that, I really appreciate everyone joining. I know the times in the world right now are a little challenging and crazy all over the place. So I really appreciate everyone taking the time to join us. And above all else, I hope all of our partners are safe and healthy and happy. So with that, I will let my face that was made for radio be very quiet, and I will let the honorable Tom Wetzel begin to talk about these awesome two games.
Well, thank you so much, Scott, for the opportunity. And I echo what you say about, I hope everyone is safe. Really, number one priority there. All right, so I'll get into the games here, and I have a little PowerPoint that I'll share with everyone, but then I also want to show everyone how to play Aquilin because it's so simple. But you may have to bear with me as I work with my computer, the video on my computer to manipulate that. All right, let's start the PowerPoint. All right. Great. So, as you can see here, I'm going to move the screen over here so I can kind of look a little bit more this way. All right. KOSMOS Games. This is kind of how I feel about the brand, and I hope you do as well as a retailer. But we really have top quality games and just top quality across the board. Hopefully you can trust us. And some of those reasons are we have 50 years of experience in the board game publishing industry. We have top quality components and materials. We've always prided ourselves. I know for a long time the German publishing house was enough to let people know that it was top quality, but hopefully the KOSMOS name also kind of relays that. We have some of the best authors and designers. And I should add to there also editors. All of our games go through a very thorough editing experience or editing process as well. Top-notch customer service. If you or any of your customers have any issues at all, I hope you feel comfortable reaching out to me directly, or GTS also works with us, but yeah, you can reach us directly and we're happy to help. My email is at the end of the slideshow here. And then we have some of the best brands in the industry as well. Exit the Game, everyone should be familiar with. Those are our top selling games right now and have been for a while. Imhotep, Lost Cities, Legends of Andor, which we'll get into a little bit, Drop It, and countless others. So today we're going to go over Aquilin and Liberation of Rietburg. It's a game in the world of Andor, which is what the subtext is you can't really see unless you're a big computer screen. All right, at first glance, we'll take a look at Aquilin, and one of the things you're going to notice is the components are amazing. They are really top quality, cool plastic pieces. And I put this here again because of how important it is. The components, not only are they nice and tactile, but they're beautiful looking pieces. and components again. They're just great. When you see the pieces, you'll see why.
Hey, Tom.
Also, simple rules.
Sorry to interrupt, Tom. I
Mhm.
wanted to double check because on my screen, your PowerPoint is actually, I think, frozen on the Cosmos logo. I don't know if anyone else who can chime into chat is seeing the slides live, and it might just be my system, but I wanted to make sure that everyone, because the tiles for Aquilan are one of my favorite things. Yeah, everyone else just sees the Cosmos logo. So you might need to stop sharing and then reshare that.
Yeah, let me try that again.
While you do that, though, I'm going to make a comment real quick about this. So, yeah, there we go. Now I can see Aquilan.
I apologize.
When I first saw the, just to make sure, I'm looking at a slide now. It says Cosmos Aquolin at first glance, components, 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 and simple rules. Yeah, the one of my favorite two-player games is Hive. I think it's beautiful. I think it's wonderful. It's very artistic. It's got that, abstract game, but very, beautiful kind of theme to it. And I love the tiles. I love the tactile nature of those tiles. And when I first saw Aqualin, that was literally the first thing that jumped into my head was everybody I play Hive with, I'm going to want to play this game with because it's just the exact same kind of feeling and tactile result that you get. So it's really, really cool.
Yeah, I know that you just have a small screen, but I've got here some of the tiles, which again, I'll show those a little bit later. But yeah, so sorry about I don't know why it stopped sharing. Yeah, components are super important to this game. But also, and the simple rules are great because it really makes it accessible to a lot of people. This game has a really good toy quality to it because those pieces are so tactile and big and chunky. And I think that is going to just do really well with the simple rules because people will see this, they'll be attracted to it, and they're like, oh, I can pick this up and play it. And so, yeah, thank you again. Low price point. It's going to cost $19.95. That's MSRP, which for the pieces is great. All right, the components, there's not much to this game. It's the board game, the 36 acrylic game tiles, and then a rule book. And you can kind of see an up-close picture of the tiles there. They really are beautiful. Why Aquilin is great. First of all, strategic tile laying game. The theme is really fun, and the imagery on the tiles is really cool, but it is an abstract game, which is nice because I know that for a lot of people who are new to the hobby gaming industry or world, sometimes they get intimidated by dragons and monsters. And this is super simple. You can get your grandma or your 8-year-old to sit down and play this with you. That's so simple to teach. It's also got a lot of strategy. It's misleading when I show you how this game plays. You might think, oh, it's just too simple. But once you get playing, you'll realize how interesting the game is because, well, you're playing another person. The best component in any board game is the other person. And in this one, it really shines. And it's so simple that I feel like a lot of people, they'll play and then they'll just want to play it again. And I'll explain why a little bit later too, how you can switch roles.
I need a t-shirt now that says the best component in any game is the other person you're playing with. That's a great line. You need to trademark that immediately.
Well, I mean, I've heard that echoed by other people, but yeah, I 100% stand behind that. All right, so although the turns can be a little bit tense, it is a two-player game, and two-player games are inherently a little bit more aggressive because you're playing against one other person. But because the gameplay is so quick, it feels very light. It's a good light experience. And it's getting great reviews. Dan King, Game Boy Geek, showed him this at Gamma, and he just fell in love with it. It's on his top anticipated games of 2020, and he's got a video where he just rants about it. Loves the game. Just some statistics here. It is a two-player only game. It is for ages 8 plus. Plays in about 20 minutes. Again, price $19.95, which is great. It actually got pushed back. It was supposed to be available in July. I apologize, things out of my control. Available in August, and this is the item number. And so I'm gonna try now to switch and show you how this game plays real quick. I have it set up over here to the side. All right, so Can you guys see me? Give me a thumbs up, Scott, if you can see me.
You and I can see
right.
your living room now.
You can also see my house now.
There you go. Yes, I can see that. That looks great.
All right, so here we go. Here's the board. And you'll notice these pieces. They're, one side is blank, and the other side has an image of a crab, and it's pink. Each one of these has an image, and it's going to have either one of 6 animals and one of 6 colors. And there's 36 tiles. All of these are going to be face down, except for 6, which is kind of your drafting pool. And you can't see that because it's kind of off screen there, but this is your drafting pool up here. And on your turn, you're going to take one, and the first player is just going to put one on the board, and that's it. And what one player is trying to do is acquire all the similar colors together. So let's say there's another piece on here that was blue. If I can find one. Like this would be advantageous for one player because we've got the 2 blue pieces next to each other. So then it's the next person's turn, right? And on their turn, they can move any one piece they want in a straight line and then place another piece on the board. Now let's say that player is actually going to be trying to combine similar shapes or sea creatures. So now they got the 2 stars next to each other. Now it's the next person's turn. Now you're always going to have 6 in the drafting pool, and on your turn you're going to move and place, move and place. That's it. And at the end of the game, you score more points based on your groups. So, and it's exponential points. So a group of 2 is worth 1 point, 3 is worth 3, 4 is worth 8, 5 is worth 10. I can't remember the exact numbers on that, but it's exponential. So the bigger your group, the more points you're going to get. And it plays really quick. It's really simple. It's really fun. And I wish I could have everyone like touch these pieces because they feel great.
I just had a very interesting and good question come in, Tom, over Facebook Messenger, actually. So, and I know the answer to this, but I'll let you talk about it. But they asked, is it just playing tiles until the end of the game and scoring? It's not something like Connect 4 where you're trying to get 4 or 5 in a row or anything like that. It's truthfully a scoring pattern game.
One of the things that I love about this game is like the simplicity, and that's just it. There's 36 tiles, and you play till all 36 tiles are used. 6 of each color, 6 of each creature, 6 in the drafting pool, 36 tiles, and you're done.
Awesome. So. Excellent. Yeah. I know some people have a little negativity on Connect 4 type games or, get through type games, but yeah, no. And I've had a chance to see Aqualin and I don't have a copy, personally, but I've seen it and I've actually watched Dan's video. Those tiles are really cool. I mean, I think they're backlight. Is that the right term for it? And
they look and feel like that. Yes.
So,
similar to tiles like Azul. They're actually very similar in size to the Azul tiles as well.
Yeah. I'm sure many of the retailers are familiar with that, or Mahjong tiles or things like that.
Yep.
So, yeah. And at $19.95, that's an awesome price point right now, given the current environment and the focus on lower SRP games, but still packing a lot of fun in for 2 people.
Yeah, no, it's great. I'm really excited about it. It was one of the games that when I first saw it at Essen, I was blown away as well. So I think it's one that, and I'll say this a little bit later too. It is the best game to demo because it takes up such a small area. And because of those tactile pieces, people will come into your store and they'll just be attracted to that. And then you can teach them in 2 minutes. So great game to demo. And again, the age range is also nice too. Let's see here. All right, let's move on to Liberation of Rietburg. At first glance, the first thing to mention is that this is a Legends of Andor game. It's in the world of Legends of Andor, and there's a lot of really strong fans, good strong fan base for that game. This is, however, a standalone game. It does not need any of the other games. It is completely separate. It's just the theme and the storyline are connected. It's a cooperative and quick, which is great because I know that some people were intimidated by the high price point of Legends of Andor, the base game, which was $60, and it also played 2 hours plus, whereas this is going to play in 45 minutes, setup and everything. Teaching is also very quick, so your first game isn't going to last more than an hour. Beautiful artwork. Michael Menzel, the artist of the original Legends of Andor, also did this. It's just great. And a low price point. Again, this one's going to be $30 or $29.95 for the amount of game this provides. It's really great. So here's some of the components, and this is a picture from the Toy Fair, similar to the one Aqualin. You'll notice this one, as opposed to Aqualin, has a lot of components, a lot of cards. And the cards are great because the cards are going to give you a lot of replayability. This is a card-based game, but it does have a board and it needs the board. So it's a board game, but there's a ton of cards and there's standees and cardboard little tokens, which there's tons of those as well. Why it's great. Cooperative strategy game. I feel like, and I don't usually like giving comparisons, but every review I've seen of this game now, people compare it to Pandemic because it's a cooperative family weight game. It is very different though. So I think it's definitely worth having both, in my opinion, and I think it would become an easier sell to someone who plays Pandemic and they want something that's just a little bit different. I think this is a good stepping point for them into something different. Again, so many hero cards, task cards, encounter cards. You'll never get the same game twice. I recently watched a YouTube video on like how many cards it takes to create how many different variations. There's literally like, I can't even pronounce the number of how many different combinations that there are that you can play in this game. It's like, you know, like 26 T1, something like that. It's wild. It's, yeah, almost incalculable. And it's already getting great reviews. This time my Steph, she does a blog on BGG, very, I think, well received, and she really liked this game, gave it a super rainbow, which we're very happy about. Some stats on Liberation of Rietburg. It's a 2 to 4 player game. Because it's co-op, you could technically play with one person, but you'd need to play with 2 of the characters. But it isn't like secret information, so you can definitely play it with one person solo. 10 plus, and I really think that could be younger, in my opinion, especially with gamer families. 40-minute playtime, that's real. I've played it in less. MSRP again, $30. It's available now, just barely, and that's the item number for it.
So I wanted to add in real quick because you mentioned about the demo for Aquilan. If anyone's not familiar with our demo program, Thames and Kosmos is part of our program with GTS. So you can actually contact us, either get a hold of your sales rep, or you can just kind of put a note in when you're placing an order for something online, and we're happy to get you a demo copy of the base games. The way the demo program works is you're able to buy 1 copy of a base game for your store in each storefront. So if you're an owner that has 2 or 3 stores in an area or anything like that, you can buy 1 for each storefront. You get it at 25% of MSRP, and then we get that out to you with your shipment and everything else. So it's a great opportunity when you have things like that. And even though Rietburg is a little bit larger game in terms of the scope and the adventure part of it, and compared to Aqualan, it also, as you saw from Tom's photo, takes up a really small footprint in terms of the cards and the board and what's happening, and it makes for a really easy and a very unique kind of look from a demo. A lot of people, I've been hearing some feedback, and it's kind of interesting. There's been some people who have said, well, I like to have the games, on display as a demo, not necessarily teaching the games, but just leaving them out as like a display thing for people to be able to see and touch and feel and kind of have that personal interaction with. And a lot of people have come back to me saying, there's a lot of games that don't look good as a demo. They just kind of look like a game. They don't really have like the pizzazz or that something that will make you want to come up and pick up the product at all. So, having those tiles for Aqualan is obviously going to be first thing of people picking them up like their Starburst candies. And then, the Rietburg stuff has such beautiful artwork. Michael is such a great artist. So it's obviously he's done, some tremendously big games in the past. So definitely good pedigree there to be able to bring some people in. But if you are interested in a demo, just reach out to your sales rep. We're happy to help you out with that. So I just want to make sure everybody knew about that.
Yeah, I obviously encourage that as well. Demos, in my opinion, are great. I like them when I see them in stores, and I think Scott's right. Both of these would demo well.
Cody just asked a question. I think I know the answer to this one, but it's more of a logistics question for you. Any chance for an early demo? I know with, obviously with Aqualin releasing in August that it's a little tricky sometimes to get things in advance to distributors to get out to retailers and stuff. So I don't know if you guys have plans or anything like that.
So generally, Cosmos games, we when we ship to distributors, it's a sell on receipt, right? So we don't usually wait or have street dates. We just make them available as soon as they are available.
Yeah, I think what Cody was kind of leaning towards was, if a release is planned for, like, let's say August 15th or somewhere around there, some retailers have been asking to get demos like, 2 weeks or 3 weeks ahead of that, just to be able to, have the opportunity to kind of boost their own pre-orders in their stores.
Right.
And I know that usually that's a logistics issue. So.
Right. Yeah, it's not something we've done in the past, only because, like I said, like as soon as we get the product, we ship it to distributors to sell. So getting an early product would mean somehow getting copies before the shipment comes, or creating a street date that's later than when we receive it, which is just not something we've done. It's not something we won't do, but we haven't done it. So it's something we should definitely look into more. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So this is relatively quick. I've just got a summary here. Go over the kind of bullet points of what we've already talked about. Cosmos Games, I hope you guys can trust us. We put a lot of effort into creating top quality games. Aqualin, I really think this is going to be one of the best demo games since Drop It. And if you don't have a demo of Drop It, you should. But this one, also great. Liberation of Rietburg is a great family cooperative game, and I think it's going to be an easy sell to people who've played Pandemic, but it is definitely different. And the specifics as to why are actually pretty simple, but you would need to actually get your hands on the cards. But you're playing cards out of your hand and picking them back up, as opposed to Pandemic, which is more like trading and strategizing that way. So, and then lastly, thank you. Thank you for your time. And that email address there, contact@Thames and Kosmos, is the best way to get a hold of me, because I monitor that email box, but also if I'm out, someone else will.
I love it. That looks just like you, actually. That's awesome. You mentioned something that I kind of want to like lean into a little bit, and it's the word trust. And we've been preaching, and I've personally been preaching for a very long time, that it's much better to focus on brands than games. Instead of chasing down the next hottest new game and trying to find that publisher who may be a giant company or may be two guys in a garage. You never really know. It's kind of challenging at times. I have a separate side conversation we can get into on another story, but I always say that everyone in the board game industry actually presents up. That's a whole nother story though. But Cosmos is transparently, with everyone here, one of our top 10 partners. They are a phenomenal partner in terms of multiple lines of games. With Exit, obviously, everyone is very, very familiar with Exit games. They do extremely well, both from a price point and from, an actual, like, what the games provide for a value. And I think that that's a very important thing, because especially in times like this, when it seems like 2020 just wants to throw a monkey wrench every Friday into something, being able to know that you know who the top brands are, who the people are to trust and to bring in, and that that they're going to be more often than not successes and better games than just trying to chase down that next one or two things. So I think that's a really big thing. So has Andor, this is a good question. Norman, hi Norman. Norman asked a question, has Andor Liberation of Rietburg released already? And if so, when will there be a restock? It has released. We are in the middle of restocking it, actually. So if it's not in your direct local warehouse, then I would check one of the other warehouses in the drop downs online, or let your sales rep know, because I know that that's in motion. I know we just sent some POs to Thames and Kosmos last week. And then Alex asks, I will always follow a good company with products. For us, Drop It has been a wonderful game and a bestseller for us. Yes, Drop It is one of my favorite, what I call crossover games, because you can play it with kids, you can play it with adults. It can be a drinking game. It can be a fun, simple party game. It can be everything. And it's just such a really, really good game. And yeah, it's good to hear that, Alex. That's really great. Derek asked a question, does Cosmos have an online location where we can get marketing assets for both print and social media marketing, especially with logos, games, pics, video trailers, and how to play videos? That's a great question. So Tom, I'll let you answer that one.
Yes, we do. And right now it's all located on our personal webpage, and there's a dealer section there, which makes it easier to find, but you don't need to be a dealer to access this information. So in some ways, it might be a little bit difficult. You'd have to search for Aquolin, and it'll pull up assets that way. But if you're a dealer, it'll give you access to a page where you can look at all of our assets, all of our images, all of our videos. And that's something that I'm happy if anyone wants access to that, just shoot me an email, contact at Thames and Kosmos, and I'll give you access to the dealer page.
And when you're saying dealer, is that distributor dealer, retailer dealer, everybody mashed in together retailer? How's that work?
Everyone, just, gotcha. I mean, it doesn't have any like real, like, what's the right word?
There's no like threshold of you need to be this type of person in the industry to be able to be part of it.
Right. Here, I'll just show you real quick. Let's see. If I can do this.
Yeah, I just noticed on the Aquilin page that if you scroll down that you have product images and a link to download things and stuff like that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm sharing, am I sharing my webpage here? You see that? If you click on the, you see it?
I do, yep.
Yeah. You just click on the dealer and then you log in, and then in here on the sidebar, you can go to product images, and that's where we have all of our games, images, and there's also videos in here as well. Happy to share this with anyone who wants it.
And just to make sure everybody knows, so that's something that they would want to email you at that contact at Thames and Kosmos to get access to. That's not like a login or sign up form online or anything like that.
Correct.
Awesome, excellent. You know, you just showed something on the website real briefly. It kind of flashed up and then went away, but I wanted to talk about it as well. It kind of leans into also the brands to trust and the big kind of, games that come out from the bigger partners. But congratulations is in order, obviously, because not one, but two different games from Thames and Kosmos have been nominated for SDJ awards this year. And I just wanted to make sure everybody knew and was aware of it. So My City, which is going to be released later this year, it actually hasn't been released in America yet. That's going to be nominated for the main Spiel des Jahres award. And then The Crew, or Die Crew, as we call it, The Crew, which is easily my favorite trick-taking game. It is super, super fun. That one was nominated for the Kenner Spiel des Jahres, which is really, really good to see, because those are two games that we felt very confident in when we first saw them from Thames and Kosmos. And I remember the first time Tom and I sat down and he was showing me The Crew, and he said, this is going to look really simple. And you're going to say to yourself, it's really simple, but you're going to be unbelievably amazed at how deep it is. And it was so much fun. So it was really good to see that happen. We are in the middle right now, just so everybody knows, we are in the middle of restocking The Crew. Everybody, I think, is out of stock of The Crew right now, and we've been waiting for a shipment. But thankfully, Thames and Kosmos, being as big as they are, they've done really well in terms of like manufacturing timeframes and being able to get reprints and things like that to us. So that is coming soon. And I believe, you can correct me if I say anything wrong, I don't have it up in front of me. My City is due around the SM timeframe. Is that right? September-ish, October-ish timeframe?
Yeah, we're hoping to have it to distributors in early October. This one is actually coming from China, and we've had a few delays, so I'm hesitant to give any solid or even semi-solid street dates yet, but that's what we're hoping for. Yeah.
Okay. Also, just as a quick question, Jasper, I noticed that you had your hand raised in the attendees thing. I didn't know if you had a question. If you do, feel free to pop it into the chat. You just hover over the chat window and drop in there. I checked to see if there was anything in the kind of random Q&A thing, but that wasn't there either. So I don't know if you just maybe mishit a button or anything like that. But Can you show the email address again? Yes, I can actually put it into chat, Derek, and we can put it up online, I think, as well. That's for Tom to share, though, because that's on his side, not my side. But in the meantime, I will add the email, contact@thamesandkosmos.com. And we'll make sure to put that into the YouTube channel as well, just to make sure that people that watch it afterwards get a chance to see that and reach out to you.
Yeah, I'll be happy to share this PowerPoint with anyone. And if Scott, if you want to give me email addresses, I'm happy to send that out.
Sure thing. Sure thing. Excellent. It looks like that's all the questions. Looks like Jasper lowered his hand, so I'm going to presume he doesn't have a question, but that's okay. But thank you. This is awesome. I mean, we seem to, have the opportunity to have, you come on maybe about once every 3 months or 4 months, and every time they're really good games and really fun games and always a good conversation. So really do appreciate it, Tom. Retailers, thank you very much. Really appreciate the time as always. It's always a challenge to carve 30 or 60 minutes out of the schedule, but really do appreciate the support and the engagement with all of our conversations. And as always, if anyone has any feedback, you can always reach out to us. As we've talked about a couple of times, you can reach Tom at contact@thamesandkosmos.com. You can reach me directly at smorris@gtsdistribution.com. Happy to answer any kind of questions you have as well. So with that, I will let everyone go and have a wonderful week in your stores. Thank you so much for watching, and thanks for joining. Take care.